The Grendel swept into Madruga after the autumn equinox, a lightning raid against Italia and the Shining Pillar. They burned the shipyards, destroyed the Freeborn Storm, crushed all resistance on the islands of Free Landing, and then pushed on to raid the port of Gazar. The Navarre forces defending Madruga, the Black Thorns, were decisively defeated, pushed to the brink of destruction themselves. After the winter solstice, the Navarre withdraw, marching north through Karaman and the Mornwald towards the safety of distant Miaran. In the opposite direction, down out of the Morn, come two Marcher armies to replace them. The Drakes and the strong Reids waste little time engaging the seafaring orcs. They drive south, along the coast of the Light Sea, liberating towns and villages. There's some fierce fighting at Khazar, but it only lasts a handful of hours before the raiding pirates board their ships and flee back across the straits to Italia. The invading orcs are nothing like the disciplined forces that have come to drive them out. The marchers are methodical, marshalling their resources to ensure the fewest Imperial lives are lost. 7,500 soldiers against at most a few hundred raiders. It seems like the bulk of the Grendel forces have already withdrawn to the islands. Sadly, they take with them their ill-gotten gains, the booty of 100 looted paradors and ruined businesses. With the aid of the corsairs of the Brass Coast, the armies of the Marchers push to liberate the islands of Free Landing. There's no navy, but the distances between islands are short, and the people of Madruga are very angry indeed. There is some reticence from the Marcher captains. In the end, they are forced to admit that they either risk the sea or leave the Grendel in control of the islands. Some, of course, are more eager than others. There are yeomen born and raised among the boats of Mead and the rushes of the North Fens who leap at the chance. The Grendel have little interest in fighting this season. A handful of hit-and-run strikes against freeborn ships transporting Marcher soldiers, a few vicious skirmishes on this island or that. One by one, islands are liberated. Only at Italia is there any serious attempt to slow the Marcher advance, but it is clear that almost all the Grendel forces have already departed. Witnesses say that the Great Armada left, taking the land troops with it, even before news of the strong Reids and the Drakes reached the islands. They have also taken much of the wealth of Free Landing, including many priceless relics and artifacts of the first years of the Brass Coast, looted from the museums of Italia. Unfortunately, the difficulty presented by fighting over the islands doesn't complement the steady advance favoured by the Marchers. While almost all the islands are liberated, the troops are not in position to take Italia, which remains in Grendel hands. Several of the smaller islands are still occupied by Grendel forces, but they are opportunists, pirates, thieves, not soldiers. One more push should see the last Grendel occupation forces driven out, but such a push must wait until after the spring equinox. Game information. The strong Reids and the Tusks face no organised resistance in their push to liberate Madruga. The main Grendel forces have withdrawn, leaving behind only scattered raiders and pirates. The Empire has retaken Lightsea and is 8/10 towards complete control of Free Landing.